you guys to the Neenah Menasha Emergency Society's inaugural Wellness on the Water. To start things off today, we have Brent Miller. He's going to talk to us about TNT Fitness. He's the owner of that business, which is just right down the street in Menasha. And he's going to also one of our home sponsors today. And you can see him over on Winding Trail Drive. And he'll be there as well. So you're going to twice. And here we go.
Sweet, yeah. So I am well aware that it's about 70 degrees outside today and weather's changing in Wisconsin. So for you guys taking the time to be inside and listening to this, it really means a lot to me. And I know all the other presenters as well. So it's going to be an action-packed day, guys. I'm going to try to set the tone here and just talk about something that I'm really passionate about. And it really is helping adults age 40 plus move and find a wellness pattern and a program that works for them. A lot of times, people, we get older and we don't really know where to go. We don't really know how to do it. And that's something that I've taken a ton of pride in and really focus on. I say 40 plus, but we have a lot of 65, 70-year-olds who step foot in our gym and they strength train and they're really, really strong human beings. So my goal here today is just to share a little bit about what I call the TNT Longevity Triangle. And it's more not necessarily about how you live life, it's how well you live life. And that's what the TNT Longevity Triangle is all about. You can come on through here, ladies, if you'd like. Otherwise, you can go that way, whatever way works. So before we dive into this, though, I want to play a little bit of a game, okay? There might be two opportunities for you to raise your hand and play this game here. But what I want to do first is talk about like fitness buzzwords. So does anyone here, can they think of a fitness buzzword that you've heard in the past? It could be fitness, nutrition, health. Like, we got anything? Macros, awesome. Love that one, Greg. Thank you. What else? HIIT, that's absolutely a buzzword. What was your name? Lisa, thank you. What else? Nothing? No other buzzwords in fitness? Protein? Intermittent fasting, yeah, that's a good one. Biohacking. Yes, that's a new one. You can just throw on some blue light blockers and you're good to go. Maybe jump in a cold tub. All those things. Not very fun. What else? Anything else? I'm going to help you in a second. Recovery, that's a good one. Yeah. What about like keto? Anyone ever hear about keto? What are some other diets we've heard of in the past? Atkins, I heard an Atkins back there. Yeah, Atkins. South Beach. We got Mediterranean. We'll just put med. That's a really big word for a Menasha kid. Don't know how to spell that one. Weight Watchers, yeah, that's a good one. We'll go WW. What about like just fitness programs that have kind of come and gone in the past? Can you think of anything there? Like Zumba, right? Zumba would be one. Yoga. Yeah, there we go. Look at this. You guys are pros. I knew I could get it out of you. There's probably plenty more, right? And I'm going to give you a little bit here. But if we look at, you guys hit some of these. We got keto, we got HIIT, we got cleanse, we got detox, we got Peloton, we got CrossFit, we got fat burn, we got macros. It's all right, kid, I can get it. Intermittent fasting, boot camp, zone 2, paleo, cardio, biohack, cold plunge, steps, rucking. We didn't even get into supplements. There's 1,000,001 supplements you can take for fat burn and weight loss, allegedly, right? So we didn't even get into those. But these are just a handful of buzzwords. But today there's a buzzword that I think it's starting to pick up a lot of steam, but it's going to stay forever because, again, it's not about how you live, it's about how well you live, especially as we age, okay? So does anyone have any idea about the buzzword that I think is going to stay forever is? Longevity! Close. It was part of my title. I didn't want to give that away. But longevity, guys, this is living strong for as long as you're living, right? Has anyone here talked to a doctor or someone in their space about longevity recently? Man, I'm out on buzzwords, I guess. I've heard it a lot on podcasts. I've heard it, I get to talk to many people like you, probably 5 to 10 people a week. And they talk about like, I just want to live a little better. So they might not say longevity, but their energy's down, they're tired, they're stuck. They get up, they go down on the floor to play with their grandkids and they're like, I don't know if I can get back up. So their quality of life is slowly but surely dissipating. And all they really want to do, they just want to live healthy and they want to live strong, right? But what happens is, it's a very intimidating place to start. Walking into a gym and not, has anyone walked into a gym not knowing what to do and been really excited about it? Yeah, you've been excited about it? You can figure it out? I'll tell you the vast majority. Okay, yeah, but if you just had no one to tell you, you wouldn't be very excited, right? Yeah. So a lot of people, that's the thing. They walk in, they might go on a treadmill for about 10 minutes, and they're like, this kind of hurts my knees and my back. I'm out of here. And you're not going to be very excited to go back the next day, right? So longevity also involves finding a plan and a path that works for you and your limitations, right? So there's 3 parts of this that I'm going to touch on, but I think this right here is one of the most staggering statistics I found in relation to longevity. Okay? So 9 years is 1 year under a decade. 10 years, think about what you have done in 10 years of your life. There's a lot, obviously. 20 to 30 is probably a lot more partying and fun. 30 to 40, you start to get settled. My in-laws always say, hey, 40 to 50 was like the best because, kids are older, we're making more money, we can kind of just be on our own. And then 50 to 60, really good time, especially if you retire early. 60 to 70, sometimes it's great, sometimes we start to trend down, right? So if we look at this lifespan, how long you live, okay? Health span is how long you live well. So current research says there's a 9-year gap between those two, right? And again, I think a lot of this comes from just not knowing what to do or how to go about it, right? And that's what I'm hoping you guys leave here today understanding. So, and when we look at how long you live well, like sick, limited, in pain, you say no to that trip because it's going to be too much walking. Like that's what we're talking about. You start to say no to more things because you just don't feel well. You're living, but you're not living the life that you want to live. Again, this can be super kind of scary to think about. I'm not trying to scare anyone, but I'm ultimately here to share some facts and what research is saying, and then sharing with you guys how we have, over the last 12 years at TNT, come up with a solution to quite literally help people change their lives, no matter their age. We have people in our gym now, 8 all the way up to 83, 84 years old, right? So it's a really wide gap, and this came from getting reps, working with people, talking with people, understanding their pain points, simplifying our program, okay? How are we doing so far? Any questions on any of this? No? Good? Awesome. All right, let's go to here. Okay, so what's been kind of cool, though, is how many of you have been to a doctor and they talk about muscle mass, bone density? Anyone? Yeah, right? It's not as much about, back then, it was all about lose weight, go chase calories, go to a high-intensity boot camp, just sweat, move, do all these things. It's all about weight loss, all about weight loss. We move more, we eat less, we're going to lose weight, and that's the solution. However, have any of you
What are you doing to combat this?
Yeah. They stole my thunder. No. Whoa. All right. Yeah. So we got weight loss. Where was I here? Weight loss, chasing scales. Someone help me out. I lost my, oh no. Burning calories, right? Like calories were the number. However, and you don't have to raise your hand if it's you, but anyone ever know someone who maybe lost 20 to 30 pounds, then you see them at the next Christmas and they go, yeah, I fell off my plan. It was too hard, right? So yo-yo dieting, right? And after a while, your metabolism says no way. So there's evidence that if we only focus on weight loss, it's a very unhealthy, unsafe, and unrealistic way to get healthy. Because we just yo-yo. We just go up and down, up and down, up and down. And if this is you, totally understand. because you walk through the shopping line now, there's still magazines talking about, follow this diet, lose weight, right? However, people in power, doctors, chiropractors, Brent, I'm just playing, we're starting to talk more about strength, muscle, and energy, right? But how do you do that? That's one of the primary things I hear when I talk to adults is, yeah, my doctor said I have to get stronger. I just don't even know how to do it, and I don't want to get hurt. Anyone else in line with that? Right? Like, I want to get stronger, but I don't know how to do that safely. And it's not the doctor's fault. They're just trying to give advice, and they don't have time to spend hours upon hours teaching someone how to do this. Right? So when we focus on strength, when we focus on muscle, when we build our energy, you're building a body that's going to carry you. You increase your bone density, and your muscle mass now is going to be what keeps you moving. It keeps you healthy. It keeps you strong. So now, if you're getting up and down off the floor playing with grandkids and aching and moaning a little bit, this becomes the norm. Your kids go, what the heck's going on with you? Like, you're running more laps around the playground than me. Next time your friend calls you to go on a hike, you say, yeah, I'm in. Wait, you usually say, no, I was hoping to get out of this one. Shoot. Right? You start to build a life and live the life. You're not just living, you're living well, right? So that brings us to the framework, the 3 things that will quite literally change your life. This is the TNT Longevity Triangle, okay? Now, you can be healthy with each of those independently, but we've learned you can't live your optimal life without all 3. It's just the way it is, right? And I'm going to share some stories here in a minute of people who are really fit conditioning. They would run. They were trying to qualify for Boston Marathon, but then they got slower and they got hurt. I'm also going to tell a story. I participated in a 200-hour yoga teacher training. You would think yoga, healthy. However, there were more back injuries, more hip injuries in that than in the gym I was currently working at. Because too much of a good thing can still lead to injury. They didn't have any stability at end ranges. It was just stretch further, stretch further, stretch further, stretch further. Might feel good, and then they come to here and they go, oop, that just pinched, right? Strength, I'm extremely biased because I've seen how if you just strength train, how much it changes lives, okay? I've been personally, I tell people all the time, the weight room saved my life. I was about 10, 11 years old, went to the weight room with my brother. I was a chunky fat kid back then, but it allowed me to like gain confidence, build strength, make friends, all these things, right? So I'm very biased. But that carried me through a really good athletic career through college. And now, 12 years into TNT, 15 years doing this, working with people just like you guys, there's a lot of evidence and truth behind strength training, okay? But again, you can do one or the other, one of the 3, but at some point, you got to hit all 3 if you really want to bridge that gap of how long you live and how well you're living, okay? So, and talked about this a little bit, but without all 3, tired, no energy to show up, achy, pain becomes the norm, stuck, you stop saying yes. Talk to people all the time. They're just saying no to a lot more. They don't want to go be in that next photo with their friends. They purposely go to the back. I've had someone come and tell me, yeah, I'm the one taking the photos because I don't want to be in it, right? It's true stories, and I get it. And when I hear those stories, actually, Coach Luke's in the back. Yesterday, we heard a story from a parent about their daughter, and immediately I'm like, man, like, we just want to help. Like, we want to help her feel stronger and more confident, right? Any adult that walks in our door, I don't care if you have 40 years of strength training background or no years. Like, we want to help you achieve your goals, which most of the time it purely is, I'm just leaving life on the table. Okay, so pillar 1, I'm going to go heavy into this, but strength training, in my opinion, the most important. It's the one that lifts the other 2. I'll talk about that in a minute. Okay? But when you strength train, the main thing, when you strength train, you're building all 3, right? You're building a stronger heart. Naturally, if you put your body under resistance, working through proper ranges of motion, your heart rate's going to elevate. You're going to learn how to pump more blood. You're going to stretch your heart, okay? You're going to build your heart. A sharper brain. There is a ton of research right now on the white matter of your brain and how strength training actually helps you think better. I don't know about you, but I forget a lot of stuff, right? But it helps you build the white matter, which is the alignment of cognition, right? There's not many other ways to do that. Besides stress, you have to stress yourself and your system to improve your brain health, okay? Muscle and bone density. The stats around like bone mass and bone density after like age 50 to 60 is absurd. There are some studies that say every 5 years it's like 5 to 10% you're dropping off, like if you don't strength train. Now it's not because strength training alone builds bones, but the strength builds the muscles around the bones and supports your body, right? So you're going to learn quickly, pretty biased around strength training, but that doesn't mean we don't do all three. Number 2, conditioning. Stretch the heart so you can keep moving with your life. All right? Maybe this is you, but there's plenty of stories about people climbing the stairs with a laundry basket. They get to the top and they go, man, I just want a first floor laundry. They grab their planners and they walk to the garden and they go, I need a minute. Want to be in the garden for 5 hours, they're in it for an hour because they're too exhausted. Right? This is real life. These are real life stories. Okay? And when you can't climb the stairs, you're probably not going to want to get out of the house very much, right? It's just the truth. Okay? And when people stop moving, they stop moving. And there's a ton of research on longevity, conditioning and longevity as well, but I'm going to piece all three. Someone to follow if you're at all interested in conditioning as a sole piece of this would be Joel Jamieson. Incredible stuff. If you follow just him on Instagram, your mind's going to be blown with the stats around conditioning. All right? Mobility. If you don't use it, you lose it, right? Without mobility, you just start saying no. You stop saying yes to things. You don't want to. Just a little embarrassed. You're unsure how you're going to move, right? It's okay. But the idea here with the longevity triangle is so that you have an opportunity to say yes to all the things you want to do, okay? All right, so here we go. I'm going to bring this together here and definitely save some time for some Q&A. Along a lot of studies and things like that that talk about strength being the most important piece, strength also builds the other two. I talked about this. But if you get stronger and you hike, you're going to be able to hike a little faster. You're going to be able to hike further without your muscles breaking down. If you're a runner, if you've hit a limit and you can't run very far anymore, and I'm going to tell the story in a minute, so I'll just skip ahead now. We had a guy trying to qualify for the Boston Marathon. He ran, and this guy was like locked in, laser focused on his plan. Right? He would eat what someone told him to eat. He would run the miles he was supposed to run, but he kept getting slower and his body started to break down. He came in strength trained. He ran less. He was in the gym 3 days, ran 3 days as well. He was running 5 to 6 days per week. Cut weight, built strength, qualified for Boston, no injuries, no aches, no pains. He was just missing that one piece. Right? He was just missing the strength piece. Right? You can do a lot of a good thing and it's not good anymore. All right? When it comes to mobility, I told you the story about the yoga class. Right? I'm a yoga teacher or a certified yoga teacher. So many times in class, it's like stretch further, stretch further, stretch further, stretch further, stretch further, stretch further, and you think you're doing a good thing. But too much range of motion, especially through when your body tells you to stop, it's no longer a good thing. Right? That's just the truth. However, when you have a proper strength training program, when you're working into proper ranges of motion, you don't need to necessarily go to a yoga class. When you're loaded under a 25-pound kettlebell getting to here, you're getting plenty of mobility to carry you through day-to-day life. Okay? So strength lifts the other two. Do we all understand how that works? Awesome. But again, here's this, right? That's the runner. That's the yoga. Okay? Again, like I say strength is the most important, but it's probably the highest barrier to entry. Can we all agree? Like knowing how to strength train, you have to have equipment, you have to have weights versus you can just go for a walk. You can go to YouTube and find a yoga video. I mean, we're in the world of information. But if you don't know how to use that information, that's all it is information, right? So the triangle really needs all three, right? Strength, we're considering that the multiplier. Just strength alone, that's going to give you a whole lot of quality of life if we just use that. Conditioning, that's going to be the engine that helps you go a little further, a little longer. You can be out in the yard all day. You can do the things you want to do without even having to think about it. Okay? And then you got mobility, which is the range, the ability to climb, go for a hike, go up the steps, but instead all of a sudden you're taking 2 steps at a time with the laundry basket going, hey, that was pretty cool, right? Little things like that, all of a sudden you go, holy cow, like I couldn't do this 2 weeks ago, right? So strength really is the multiplier to all of this, 100%. Okay? And guys, I'm going to bring this together here and then we'll have a little Q&A, but longevity isn't just a number. It's the answer to this question. At 70, at 80, what do you still want to say yes to? Right? And like that gives me a little tingly feeling. Like what do you want to say yes to when you get older? People will kick the can down the road, not because they necessarily want to, but a lot of times because they don't know how to. And they just keep kicking that can, and then all of a sudden they have a scary moment. Doctor says, hey, you need to do something. Kids are like, hey, I need you to do something. Friends are like, hey, I need you to do something. Right? We can work well and reactive, but proactive, guys, and you get strong in all the, it's going to quite literally change your life. Again, the social proof, I think I see a lot of heads nodding, like it all makes sense, right? So the TNT Longevity Triangle, it really isn't, it's obviously not a number, it's a word, but it is, what do you do at age 70 and age 80? How are we living, right? Can we take that 9-year gap and can we just shut that down altogether and be that 95-year-old to 100-year-old who's still golfing and going to Arizona doing whatever the heck they want? Like that's the goal, right? And you need all 3 of these elements in order to do that. So honestly, the TNT, if we were to sum this up, the TNT Longevity Triangle helps you live your life with more strength, energy, and confidence. That's it. That's what we tell our people all the time. If you walk in here, you get stronger, you have more energy, you have more confidence, you're going to quite literally change your life. And there's a lot of times, by osmosis, you change your life. That's the only way to impact the others around you. And the decision you make quite literally could change your best friend's life because now they saw what you did and they're ready to take action too, right? So that's all we got for the presentation, but I want to say thank you guys. I hope that was helpful. I hope the TNT Longevity Triangle made sense here. I'd love to have some Q&A. And how much time do I have? What time is it? Anyone? What time? 53. All right, nice. All right. So, and just as a heads up, I'm going to tell you this, and then if you got to go, cool, but I'd love to help out with Q&A. Today, guys, we are doing an offer for the kitchen tour. We are giving away our, obviously, this is all about helping the Nina Menasha Emergency Society. It's all about helping them raise money, raise funds. So if you sign up for a 13-week or a 12-month agreement with us before May 1st, I got some business cards over there, got that QR code. I'm going to be at the main home. We're going to donate your first month right back to the Nina Menasha Emergency Society. So if nothing else, you get a 13-week commitment to Healthier, and you're helping the charity out too, right? I'm going to be available to answer questions. If you complete this form, you are not opting into any commitment, but I will have your contact info and able to follow up. But again, you can catch me at the home a little bit later today, all right? So any questions? Yeah, what do you got?
How do you start someone that's in their 60s or 70s? What do you do from
Yeah, absolutely.
day one when they walk in?
Yeah.
And then how do you progress?
Sure. What was your name?
Wanda.
Wanda, great question.
Like from someone who has done a little bit of trying to do things, but maybe not yet into the strength training, which
Yeah.
I think is
So,
essential.
got you. Totally understand. So I have a couple of members that are here, a couple coaches, and maybe if you catch them on the way out, they're going to be able to tell you a totally different story about how we do things. Again, I'm a little bit biased in how we do it. But there's one woman in particular. She had someone who was doing some cooking for her, and she was telling her about TNT for like 4 or 5 years. And she just kept saying, can't help me, can't help me, can't help me, can't help me, can't help me. Pain got so bad, she's like, I need help, I need help, I need help. And then she said, I just wish I started sooner. I wish I started sooner. And here's how we did that. Number one, there's 3 tiers of programs, or really 2 tiers. We got our group training and our private training. Someone like you, we're going to say, hey, we're just going to stay away from group training right now because you need a little bit more of that private training, which could be some 1-to-1s, which could be 2-to-1s, or what we call small group strength training, which is a really cool program because we quite literally take the cost of personal training and we disperse it between 6 to 8 people. So you get personal training without the cost of a common personal training session, okay? Now, how do we do that? Our program starts with low impact, low intensity 100% of the time. I don't care if you've been in the gym 40 years or 0 years, right? We're gonna start low impact, low intensity. So what we're trying to do is bridge, like some places will go, here's the exercise, here's injury, and like it's a wide gap. We're just trying to close that gap and keep it safe to start, right? We have to build confidence. So it's really, we look at Wanda, right Wanda? We look at Wanda, we see how you move, and we have a full exercise pool where we start to progress and regress for what works with you. I could go miles into this, but we also have progressions, regressions, and then we have constraints and tools to help you like feel the muscles you're supposed to feel, right? So in particular, a lot of people can't squat without knee pain. So it's not because the knees are bad, it's usually because we're tight in the hips, we're tight in the ankles, we're tight in the feet, somewhere in there. So we use a whole lot of wedges, right? Wedges then take the pressure off your ankles, knees, hips. Now you can squat, boom, you feel it in the quads, you don't feel it in your knees anymore, right? The one thing that not enough people do, and it's something we're trying to change inside the business, just by speaking about it, is low impact, low intensity. We have a full boat of exercises, but we want to teach you what are the movement patterns, right? Has anyone here ever been taught how to squat? I mean, you guys better say yes. Or have you just been told to squat? There's a huge difference between just squatting like that, and then you go, oh, my knees, versus, okay, cool, hey, listen, when we squat, we need to be vertical. When we're vertical, to do that, we need to find the stack, shoulders, hips, ribs, and now I just need you to pull your butt straight down to the floor. People immediately go, wow, I've never been able to do that before. I've never been taught how to do that. So we're going to teach you movement patterns, and that's going to be like the first initial wave. At that point, we slowly kick training wheels off, but we are very conservative, especially for someone coming in not sure what to do. And that's how we ascend them to now this person I told you about, wish she started sooner. She's been, I think she told us 6 years now. Travels the world. She was in Africa for 4 weeks. She went up to Dracula's castle. Like, she went from repaired knees, repaired hips to like traveling the world and getting on the floor with her grandkids. And that's how we did it, one day at a time. Show up. And it really, like, you show up, that's all you got to do. We take care of the rest.
I think if you're like the 60s or 70s and you haven't really done it or haven't done it for 30, 40 years, you kind of think, is it going to work for me?
Yeah.
Because can I still do it at this
Yeah.
age? And plus, there's a lot of other things that come in, like you said, sore knees or
100%.
arthritis or, certain conditions where, maybe you don't breathe the best. I know breathing is important,
Yep.
type of thing. So you take all of that into consideration.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you, this lady that came in, super deconditioned. It's our job to meet you where you're at and get you where you want to go. And again, like, I can tell you all this. I can tell you, hey, we got 283 5-star Google reviews. Probably 20 to 30 are from people 60 plus, talking about how they never thought they'd be in the gym. Like, I can tell you all of this. I can throw a free week at you. I can give this, hey, we're doing something good for charity. But until you feel it, like, that's it. Like, and that is the hardest step 100% of the time, is stepping into the door and saying, I'm ready for this. But I'll tell all of you, we're going to do the best we can with what we know and the years of experience. I'm like, I did some real, and again, I don't want to take too long, but I've done some real quick, simple math. And like, I have personally trained, and I pass this on to our coaches, I had trained, if you just did 365 plus days, not even ever eating nothing, 24 hours a day. Like, so that's a lot of time working with human bodies, and every body and everybody is totally different. It's our job to help figure that out. So I think I'm at my limit, huh?
Oh, no, I was just going to.
Oh, anyone else?
I got a question.
Yeah.
So with you being like in this, super healthy and everything, what do you do for like food and drinks when you go out? Because I wanna work out more and do that stuff, but I started dating again, and every first one they're like, let's meet for a drink.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, oh, it's like having all these drinks. So,
Yeah,
like,
Greg, right?
Yeah. So like, what do you get for drinks, or like when you go out to the bar or something?
Yeah, so answer really is, it depends. So if I'm gonna send it, I'm gonna send it. I'm telling you right now. I was a fat kid, I still got a lot of that in me. A lot of my pride growing up was like, actually, like, I found that binge eating at times. So like that carries with me. So if I'm going to send it, I'm going to send it. So number one, I pick my spots. Number two, if it's 1 or 2 days and you're at the gym, you're working on your conditioning, you're working on your mobility, you're working on your strength 5 to 7 days per week, then that 1 or 2 meals, it just is, right? Then it becomes a balance. So you come in and you go, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds, but I'm kind of a ladies' man. I got 6 dates a night, 6 dates a week. You know, I'm always going, okay, well, hey, listen, maybe we don't shoot for 20 pounds. Maybe we just focus on getting stronger right now and see what happens. And then you go, oh, right, because if I get stronger, I build muscle mass, I can still be social and enjoy this. And then what happens, this is what's going to happen, 7, 8, 9 months down the road, you're like, all right, listen, like I know I'm not giving the best I can to nutrition and I'm ready for this step. And now we do that part, right? Now we start to focus on nutrition and what that means, right? But it really is pick your spots. And if you do these other good things, it's going to be way better than if you only focus on maybe you're eating too much, right? Maybe these dates are consuming you and you're not doing anything else. That gets really hard then. But if you do a little bit of everything, it's all a balance. It's a sum of averages. Is that helpful? All right, good. Anyone else? I might have to get going. Yeah, Wendy.
Osteopenia.
Yeah.
You hear a lot about jump training.
Yep.
Is that something I know it's a
Yeah.
very vague,
Yeah.
deep question because you wouldn't start off with that.
Yeah.
Are you a believer in that?
Yeah.
Strengthening bones, or do you think muscle strength training is not?
Yeah, I could go through our whole training system and I could be here for hours, but every training session has a power element, slams, throws, jumps. That's what we use before any of our strength. So real quick, we use another way, we use a 7-tier system. We prime the body for activity by getting it loose. We do dynamic warm-ups, which we call readiness. We go into our power reactive works, which could be slams, jumps, throws, band-assisted, non-band assisted. Then we go to our strength, then we go to our conditioning, and then we do a cool down, right? So we have a system around all of this based on what we feel like people need. And again, historically, yeah, you're welcome. It has quite literally changed people's lives. So cool, guys. Well, that's kind of my time, right? I think if you guys have any questions, we do have the forms and the business cards there, but I am going to the main house. I would love to chat with you. We are doing the world's strongest kitchen tourist over there. If you pose with some dumbbells, you might win a $20 gift card. But yeah, thanks, guys. Truly, it really means a lot that you're all here today, and I'm glad you can be part of this event. Thanks, guys.